Damn. Why don't they have a timer on this thing? Alright then. What's up, YouTube? Just have to go off this clock. It's the JRX here. I'm back to making videos again. I finally got over my addiction of the League of Legends, so I can get back on making videos again. Just realized how pointless it was ranking up in that game. Wasn't getting anywhere. So, you know, I'm over it now, so I can put my focus back in videos again. So yeah, it's good to be back. But yeah, I just wanted to say, I hope Irwin Schiff can rest in peace. He can't rest in peace because he did die unjustifiably. But you know, but in case if anybody doesn't know who Irwin Schiff is, Irwin Schiff was the father of Peter Schiff, and Irwin Schiff was a man who fought against the unconstitutional law of people having to pay a tax, an income tax, and he fought against it, and he fought against it in the courts, and he refused to pay his taxes. He educated people on why they should not pay their taxes, why it's unconstitutional, and why they should not do it, and you know, and he was teaching people how to do this, how to avoid paying taxes. And the government eventually put him in jail. They eventually put him in jail for that, for publishing books on how to educate people, how to avoid paying taxes, and you know, and not paying taxes himself. So I mean, you know, Irwin Schiff is a true American hero. If anybody were to be called a true American hero, it would definitely be Irwin Schiff. Not Spider-Man, not Batman, not Superman, none of that fucking bullshit. Irwin Schiff is a true American hero. And I would say soldiers are true American heroes, but they work for the corporations. Irwin Schiff is a true American hero, but yeah. He stood for the values of what America stood for. I don't know if Americans lost touch with their origins, with their roots, and why the United States of America came to be, but the reason why the United States of America came to be was basically over taxes. The ancestors of America, you know, were tired of paying taxes to the British. The Americans were just trying to do their own thing, get their own businesses going, just trying to make a living, just trying to live out their own lives, trying to contribute to society, trying to help their society, and just, you know, get things going, trying to be successful. And these British are trying to get up and involved with that. Like, oh, you're selling this merchandise, you need to pay a tax on it. You need to pay this tax, you need to pay that tax, you need to pay all these taxes to us. Because we're the British, and because we said so, and because we said so, you have to pay us taxes. And the Americans were just like, what the fuck? We don't need to pay you shit. This is our business. This is our money. We get to do what we want. You can't come up in here. You had nothing to contribute to my fucking business. You're just coming up in here like a punk and just mugging money from me, and you know, threatening me. And that's basically how America was founded. It founded off people who were tired of the fucking British people's bullshit, you know, taxing them. Americans got tired of that, and that's why America was founded. It was primarily over taxes. And it just seems now, today, it's like Americans are just totally fine with it now. Like, oh, you had nothing to contribute to my business, you fucking did nothing, you're just the government, and you're the government coming up in here and telling me I gotta pay you taxes. What the fuck? The fucking IRS? What the fuck are you? Why do I need to pay you money? You've had nothing to contribute to my business. You're just taking money from me. And it's the whole reason why America was founded. Because of that. And I'm just like, you know, the founders of America would be ashamed of America today. If they saw how America was today, they would be fucking ashamed. And Irwin Schiff, I would say Irwin Schiff is like, he's like the Thomas Jefferson of today. Like, he did what he could to protest against this bullshit. And I agree, it's fucking bullshit. I don't know why people have to pay an income tax to the government. I mean, it's like, nah, we don't need to do that. Like, fucking, according to Peter Schiff and other economic experts, the more government there is, the worse off the country is. And it totally makes sense, because the government, all the government does is borrow tax dollars, they borrow money from the bank, the Federal Reserve Bank, and then the Federal Reserve Bank charges interest on that. So it's like, okay, we gave you $1 million, now you have to pay us I don't know, $10,000 every month to pay back that money and stuff. And it's like, you know, and then the government taxes the people to pay for the money that they borrowed from the Federal Reserve Bank. So the government is fucking crippling the people because they're borrowing money from the bank. It's stupid. It's pretty much like kind of like my friend buying a car or something, borrowing money from a bank to buy a car, and now I gotta pay money to that guy to pay for the money that he borrowed from the bank, even though I had nothing to do with it. And it's like, I don't know, back then in the old days, we didn't have to pay an income tax. We didn't have that before, and we were a very prosperous nation. We were very prosperous, and there's very little government involvement in the people's affairs. The government really did not really do that much. It was just a very small organization back then in the old days, and America was very prosperous, you know. And then it ended up leading to America becoming like this huge beacon of light that all the countries all across the world looked up to. By the 1900s, America just become this very powerful and rich empire that people all around the world looked up to. And the reason why we were so productive and so economically successful was because of our principles that we abided by. And now we have totally turned our backs on our principles, and now America is like one of the most fucking broke ass nations in the fucking world. Like, fucking, what is it, 17? How much debt do we have now? I know it's a lot. It's in the trillions of dollars of debt. America's fucking broke. That's what happens when America turns its back on its principles. So America used to be one of the richest, most dominant countries ever, and now America is one of the most broke ass nations ever. Trillions of dollars in debt. So it's stupid. So Irwin Schiff was a hero, and it's such a shame that he had to go to jail because he was supporting the Constitution of the United States of America. And that shows the Constitution of the United States of America is just pretty much redundant now. It doesn't matter what it fucking says. The government will just do whatever the hell they want now. The government has way too much power. And the IRS, the Federal Reserve Bank, fucking banks control this nation. And it's what our forefathers did not want. You know, our forefathers advocated gold and silver being money because they knew what fucking paper currency could do to a nation. And they were aware of that. That's why it was gold and silver, only money. And fucking, I know they wouldn't allow banks to spring up back then. Like, whenever a bank tried to pop up back then, they took it down. Like Andrew Jackson, another president, he took down the banks. Back in the 1800s or something, but yeah, he knew how bad banks were, and he took them down. But yeah, the banks have too much power now. They got control over this whole nation. They're destroying our currency, our money supply, by printing the shit out of it. It's harder. It's getting harder and harder for Americans to live now because of the inflating currency. Fucking a burger back then was 5 cents. Today you got to pay about $1 to get a burger, which is fucking terrible. Like, that's 100% increase. Not even 100% increase. That's fucking 2,000% increase. It's bad. It's really high. So I don't know. It's such a shame. Irwin Schiff was only fighting for his rights, as an American, fighting for what was right, fighting for the principles of what made America so great. And unfortunately, a true American actually went to jail for being a true American, faithful to his country's heritage and the country's pride and founding principles that our founding fathers laid out for us to uphold and cherish. Yeah, but America's just nothing but a former shadow of itself, and I'm not sure what could be done to fix it. I mean, the only way that could be, the only thing I can see that can fix it is just educate the people. Education is the best way to be ready for anything. I mean, like, you know, the best we can do now is just educate people on Irwin Schiff, what he fought for and stood for. Educate and spread the word, and just spread the word about how unjust everything is in America. If people start talking, if people start voicing their opinions, the government's gonna hear it. And if they got like fucking millions of people protesting this shit and saying, hey, this is fucked up, if a lot of people complain, the government is gonna hear. So the best way to stand up for this is to educate the people, spread the word. But rest in peace, Irwin Schiff. And Peter Schiff, if you ever do watch this, I'm sorry for what happened to your father. It was truly wrong for him to go to jail for that. And your father was a true hero, and hopefully we can avenge his death and do what he always wanted to do, which was to educate the American people about the injustice of this system. Educate the American people and hopefully bring change and go back to the great America that our founding fathers created. Thank you for watching, and that's all I gotta say. Peace.